Sup, y'all? Anthony back. Sorry about my lack of videos the last couple weeks. There were some family health scares I was dealing with. We're all past that now, but I didn't think it would have been pertinent to make a video of any kind while members of my family were severely sick. Other than that, I'm back today with a video, and what I want to talk about is the fear of hell. Obviously, because I'm an atheist and I don't believe in that anymore, I am not afraid of any concept of hell, be it Christian or Islamic. I'm just not. Even when I was Christian, I wasn't afraid of hell. Now, let me tell you why. I understood the fact when I was a Christian that I was a sinner, I was a hypocrite, and I even was a, quote, blasphemer, because I would use words like goddamn, and I would actually dare to question God when things went wrong. When my grandma died, I asked him why he would take her from me. And for years after that, I actually settled into the fact with myself that I'm going to hell. I've been a bad person. I've done bad things. I have used the Lord's name in vain, and I've quote unquote blasphemed. Now, while certainly it didn't give me any joy knowing or thinking I knew that that was my destination, I wasn't afraid of it. I accepted it. And long before I started reading the Bible and finding out just how immoral the Bible was, I had settled in on myself that, well, I'm gonna try to live life the best I can now, try to be as good of a person as I can now, and if I go to hell for the crimes I've committed, then so be it. The reason for this is because I forget the verses again, I'm not a biblical scholar and I don't know all these verses by heart anymore, but one of the verses, actually a couple of them, in the Old Testament and the New, talk about one of the things that the God of that Bible hates the most is hypocrisy. He hates hypocrites. So I looked at it like this. I did certain things that were considered sins. I knew before, during, and after doing them that they were sins, yet I did them anyway. I didn't try to avoid them. I knew I shouldn't use God's name in vain. I knew I shouldn't, quote unquote, blaspheme. I knew I shouldn't even question God. I knew that was all damnable offenses, and I did it anyway. So to avoid the ultimate sin of being a hypocrite, I decided I wasn't going to try to make recompense for the things I did. That being said, so even for the longest part of my cognitive years as a Christian, roughly 10, 13 years, something like that, I was settled into the fact that I was going to hell. It was the fact that when I started finding out just how evil the God of the Bible was, and yes, you heard me right, the God of the Bible is evil, that I started questioning what it was that I was worshiping anyway. And then by the time I got to be an atheist, that if there was I realized that if a God ever did exist and it was an Abrahamic God, then it's not human mortals, human sinners that should be in hell. It's that God for all the things he's done to us, for all the things he's done to his own angels and other ethereal beings like Lucifer and the angels that followed him that apparently became the demons we know and fear so much. So that's really just the gist of it. Even when I was a Christian, I wasn't afraid of hell. I had settled into the fact that I was going there, and then realizing I don't believe any of this has freed me from that. I am still just the same person as in terms of how I act and how moral I am as I was back then. I still don't kill people, I don't rape people, I don't steal from people, I don't do any of that shit that we usually consider immoral. Yeah, I throw a cuss word out here and there, sue me. But as far as that goes, I'm the exact same moral person that I was back then. I mean, I've grown a little more, I like to think, and think that I've become a better moral person over the years, but it didn't devolve me into a hedonistic lifestyle. It didn't make me some psychopathic mass murderer or rapist or anything like that. That's the point I was getting at. So losing the concept of hell actually released the burden off my shoulder, even though I was never afraid of it in the first place, because again, I settled in the fact and made my peace with the fact that that was my destination for the things I had already done in life. And to avoid becoming a hypocrite, I wasn't going to beg for forgiveness, because that would make me a hypocrite. And that's something I want you Christians to think about if you ever watch this video. If you do things and you know they're a sin before you do them, if you do things and you know they're a sin while you're doing them, then after you do them, you beg for forgiveness, that makes you a hypocrite. And the Bible tells you that God absolutely hates hypocrites. So what good is begging for forgiveness for your other sins if now God's going to condemn you for your hypocrisy? Just something to think about. Peace. See y'all next week.